Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss implementing global error handling in ASP.NET Core. Global error handling in .NET application ensures that all unhandled exceptions are caught in a centralized place, preventing application crashes and allowing for proper error logging, user-friendly error messages, and maintaining application stability. In this tutorial, we will use Net9. To start, we create a Web API project, set project name to Global Error Handling Demo. Next, use the Net9 framework and create project. First, let's create a minimal API and throw an exception and see how the system behaves. In a program.cs file, remove sample minimal API, this minimal API, and this variable. In this line, create a minimal API with route API v1 get. In this example, and divide by 0 exception true. Integer a equals 0, integer b equals 10, and result equal to b divided by a. Now we can test this minimal API with .http file. Open this file and change this route to API v1 get. Run project and see the result. Press send request. Here is how the system handles error by default. Now to handle error globally, we need to use some services and middleware. In program.cs file, in this line, we can use this service for using problem details format. And in this line, we can use middleware of use exception handler to convert unhandled exception into problem detailed response, and use this middleware for return the problem detailed response for non-successful response. Run project again and see the result. Run project, go to .http file and send request again. See response change to problem details format. Problem detail format have some property type, title, status, and trace ID. For customized global error handling, you need to create a class and inherit the iException handler interface. So I create class custom exception handler name add and inherit iException handler interface. This interface have an method with name try handle async that have HTTP context, exception, and cancellation token as input. We can get status from exception. After get status from exception, we can set this status to a status code of response. Now we can create a new problem details and write to response. Problem details have many properties: a status that get from exception, and title, and type that use exception type for this, and details that use message of exception for this. Now we can write these problem details to response. Await HTTP context dot response dot write as JSON async and use async keyword. Then return true. In this switch case, we say if exception is argument exception, set a status to bad request. If divide by 0 exception, set to bad request again, else set to internal server error status. Run project and see the result. Run, go to .http and send request again. See response not change because we create an custom exception handler and not use it in system. For use this custom exception handler as global exception handler, in program.cs must register this service. For this, in this line, we can say builder.services.exception handler and say this class is my exception handler. Run again and see the result. Run, go to .http, send request, see the response is changed. Type say divide by 0 exception, status bad request, details, attempt to divide by 0. In global error handling, we can use custom exception for this. I create in class name not found exception and say this class is a exception, inherit exception class, and use this not found exception in my custom exception handler and say if this exception is not found exception, then set status to not found. Now in program.cs create another minimal API with route API v2 get that through new not found exception. Run project and see the result. Run, go to .http file, change route to v2 and send request. See the response, type not found exception and status set to not found. Also, we can customize problem details for this purpose. In program.cs file, I register at problem details service. We can use delegate, pass delegate, and customize problem details. Pass delegate to add problem details, and use customize problem details to customize response of problem details. For instance, use request method and request path. In this line, we add new property name request ID that get value from HTTP context trace identifier. Again, add new property to problem detail name trace ID that get value from activity. Now we can use iProblem detail service in custom exception handler. So in custom exception handler, use this service, iProblem detail service, and use it in this line, and remove or comment this line. We use this service for create problem details, write to response and return true. Run project and see result. Go to .http file, send request. In response, see trace ID and request ID added to problem details and value of instance change to HTTP method and HTTP path. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. Good luck!